Okay, so welcome to the channel. We've got Lauren and Keara here today. I'm very excited to meet these two lovely people. So they are both content creators separately. And okay, y'all should have seen how many tabs I had open on my computer trying to figure out all the things you do. So I was like, oh my gosh, these lovely people are okay, they're so multi-talented. So they're both autistic content creators, but then Keara is also an actor and a singer. And then Lauren, I was just listening to your album, which is on Spotify, and like, okay, and then together y'all make some spicy content. Is that okay to
Yes.
say?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And then you also have a podcast,
Yeah.
a couple queers podcast,
Yes.
which I think is just the greatest title. I love that so much.
Thank
So thank you for being here today.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks for
thank
having us. We're
you.
so excited to be on your channel. We love your channel.
Oh, that's very sweet. When we were messaging together, we were trying to figure out, what do we feel passionate talking about together, and what we decided on for the channel today is to explore self-diagnosis. And I think this is such a big, important topic, especially we're not going to get into this because this is stressful, but there's been stuff in the news lately that's just made seeking an autism diagnosis maybe feel a little bit more unsettling or unnerving, scary than it has in the past. And so we just wanted to get on here today and to kind of talk about the self-diagnosis process, and to also share just some supportive ideas and thoughts that the three of us kind of have around this process. The first question that I have here that we can talk about is, is there an aha moment that either of you had where you realized, like, oh my gosh, I think I'm autistic?
Yeah, you can start.
Your videos.
Oh, okay.
Like I was an I have ADHD and autism. And I was in ADHD and autistic burnout from my 9 to 5 job that I used to work. And I didn't know why I was like just so behind and I couldn't do anything. And I woke up one day and I was like, I had this intuitive thought that was like, research autism.
Wow.
Because it's not what I think it is. And so I was like, but specifically I was like, I need to YouTube it because I was like, I was like, I don't think I need to Google it because there's just a lot of things.
Okay.
There's a lot of Google.
And so I Googled it and I was scrolling to see, and one of your videos was one of the first ones that popped up, and it was autism bingo.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, like this is kind of fun. So I clicked it and I checked all of the boxes, and then I was like, wait.
What does this mean?
Yeah, I was like, hold on, like I have all of these. There's more to this. And I already knew I had ADHD, and then I was seeing this and I was like, whoa. And so then I just went down a rabbit hole of like watching all your videos, and then I finally explored into like watching like other videos and reading and stuff like that. And each night I'd be like to Keara, I'd be like, did you know this is an autism trait? And Keara would be like, I have that. And so
I'm like, wait.
What? Yeah. The world starts like moving slowly and things start shifting, and you're like, what does this mean? Who am I?
Yeah, exactly. And so honestly, like your energy and videos and content you make, Taylor, are like they're a ripple effect. Like if it weren't for me finding your channel, like I don't know if I would know that I'm autistic, and I don't know if like you
Yeah.
can speak for yourself.
Yeah, because, well, the way that I found out was literally Lauren being like, I think I'm autistic. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, you don't seem autistic. Like, I was just like, I was not educated at the time. And then, like, once Lauren started telling me, like, all of the different traits and, like, traits that they experience, we're really similar. Like, we're just so similar.
Yeah.
And so,
It's like the Spider-Man meme of like, wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pointing.
huh? Yeah, exactly.
So true.
And I was like, yeah, well, if you're autistic, girl, I'm autistic. So, yeah. And then I eventually got diagnosed this year.
Wow. Okay, so do y'all feel comfortable sharing like where you're at in your diagnostic journey, if you're self-diagnosed, professionally diagnosed, and if there's any other, Lauren, you said you're also ADHD. Do y'all mind sharing about that?
Yeah, of course. I am self-diagnosed autistic still. I'm not sure if I will get professionally diagnosed. I feel pretty good and confident about myself right now, and I don't really need the resources that it would like give to me. But I just got professionally diagnosed with ADHD and OCD. Especially OCD was really affecting my life. And so that's when I was like, okay, maybe I need to like seek a diagnosis, like see if there's like just like resources that could help me with
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I knew that I had ADHD from when I was a kid because the doctors told my parents, but my parents just never went and got me a diagnosis, even though like it would have been very helpful during school. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, you know what, let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
see if we can help ourselves.
There you
And
go.
I don't regret it. It's nice. But yeah, in terms of autism, I feel really good where I'm at, you know?
Yeah.
And I love being an advocate for self-diagnosis because there are a lot of people. I thankfully like I have the privilege that I could get a diagnosis, but for me it's kind of just like I don't want to like how do I word this? Like I have such like demand avoidance. When it feels like a demand from like
Right.
online, I'm like
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay outside of that box.
I love
You know
that.
what I
Yeah.
mean? I
I'm
have
gonna stay over
nothing
here.
against professional diagnosis. Like, do it. If
Mhm.
it helps you and everything. Like, 100%.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that resonate with that watching. They're being like, "Oh my gosh, that's why I don't want to get one either because it feels like a demand. It's like you have to prove
Yeah,
this or something." It's like, "No, I just am going to be me."
exactly. And like, there's so many people that like just can't get a diagnosis, like because of financial reasons, like
There's so many
systemic
barriers.
racism. There's so many reasons. And if I can just be one of those voices that is self-diagnosed, like I want to be that. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm at right
I
now.
love that. What about you, Keara?
Yeah. Yeah, so around 2 months ago-ish, I just got like diagnosed professionally with autism and illness anxiety disorder,
Okay.
which really sucks because like I actually didn't know that was like a thing.
This is the first I'm hearing of it, so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's an anxiety disorder all kind of like surrounded on it's basically health anxiety.
Okay.
But it's also I think it's like don't quote me on this, but it's under the umbrella of OCD where like you
I was going to say it sounds like related to OCD because there's a lot
yeah.
of similar fears kind of about that.
Yeah, like I went to OCD type therapy when I was like 6 years old, 7, because like I was really having a lot of trouble with like my compulsions, like,
Yeah.
hand washing or like not touching things or like those kinds of things.
Mhm.
I feel like that trained it out of me at a young age. So like now it's mainly just like looping in my head all the time.
That's yeah, a lot of information for y'all to process together and separately. And it's like I've said before, it feels like everything changes, but at the same time, nothing changes. I don't
I
know.
feel
It's just
like it feels, I don't know about you, but when you first realize it, it's like a roller coaster of
Mhm.
and then it's kind of like, okay, well, how can I improve my lifestyle to fit with me? The more I become
Mhm.
aware of like how my brain works and like stuff
And
like
then I was like, well, who is me? Who am I? Like,
right.
Yeah.
what do I even want or need? Who am I when I'm not masking?
Right, exactly. Because we're both high masking. You're high masking, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, we both were high masking as well. So we definitely can relate. to
Well,
that.
that's one of the things I feel like y'all do really well with your content is I love like I feel like you're unmasking together and you show that kind of in the context of understanding each other and understanding yourselves. And so like when you share that kind of stuff, have y'all experienced any, and I say y'all, okay, I'm a Texan. Have y'all experienced any backlash or, if that's online or if that's from friends and family? And then I guess you both have the different perspectives of self versus professional diagnosis. So what does that look like for y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start with like when you
Sure.
first started putting your autism content online and you were still
Yeah.
self-diagnosed.
So I started I went through this like when I first realized that I'm autistic, I was like, I need to spread these facts. I need to
Mhm.
get this information out there before even digesting it myself.
Okay, we sound like we have some similarities. Okay.
Yes. And so I created a YouTube channel probably like a month after I like was deep diving and I was like 100% like
Yeah.
I am, and I was still educating myself as I was like making the YouTube channel, and immediately people were like, no, 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 you can't be self-diagnosed because I was promoting like self-diagnosis. And so immediately they're mean.
They were really mean.
Oh,
They
that
were
can be so
literally
mean. Yeah.
like
I'm like,
they
you don't even know me. Like,
yeah.
who are you?
And why does this matter to you? But
Right. Like, why are you spending your time telling me this? Don't you have anything else to do?
literally, and I think I remember I either DM'd you, Taylor, or I messaged or did a comment on one of your YouTube videos, and I was like, you like posted something about self-diagnosis, and I was like, thank you, like I'm getting like so much hate right now. And like,
Yeah.
it meant a lot to me, so thank you, because at
Aw.
that time I was very like I tend to struggle with the autistic trait of lack of sense of self. And when
Mhm.
I was seeing all these comments, I was like second guessing myself and like just like
Mhm.
very like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like, am I wrong? Like,
It's a very vulnerable place to be, and you're putting yourself out there trying to help people, and then they're tearing you down for it.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So like when you responded and I saw that comment, I was like, oh, okay, like,
It's gonna be okay.
and I like was like, okay, I need to take a break from all social media because it was across all platforms. People were denying me. It was the first time that I was like speaking about it. So I took a break for like 4 months. That was like in November, and I didn't get back into content until probably around end of March, April of I don't know what year the time is gone.
I know. What is time these days? I don't know.
I don't know. But like if
I
you
don't
could
know.
just imagine
Pre-COVID, post-COVID, that's about all I've got.
yeah, and so 4 months later, I took a 4 month break, and then it was funny because when I went back into the content again, everyone was so accepting.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
And I was like, what just happened? Like, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I really needed to just sit with my own feelings
Yeah.
and really digest that before like getting into it.
Yeah.
And that was like kind of backlash that I got from it. It really like did a beating on my mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like did what I created boundaries with social
There
media.
you go. That's good.
And I think that was probably the best thing that I could have done when I was.
So did you start posting? You started posting about autistic content before you did, Keara. Is that right? Or did it happen?
Yeah, you started
so
posting before me. Yeah.
yeah, because you kind of were like,
I was still digesting. I was still like
Yeah.
discovering, reading books, doing research, like in the research phase.
Yeah.
But when
So
I,
how have people responded to your content when you started posting?
yeah, so I remember I made this one YouTube video because at the time we are living downtown Toronto. So like right now we kind of live in a little bit of like a quieter neighborhood. So it's like not as overstimulating, but we used to live like right in the downtown core and it was hell.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Like, it was hell.
Yeah.
And I like made this vlog. It was actually supposed to just be like a happy vlog of like day in my life. And then it ended up being me having a meltdown on camera because like I couldn't go outside. Like I couldn't leave my apartment because it was too much. And I like titled it like living with autism in a city. And people were
Oh.
like, oh my God, like Keara's just like talking about whatever's trending. Or like, oh, like Keara always, because they also said that thing about like when I came out as non-binary online, like gender fluid, they were like, oh, Keara's just talking about this because it's trending. And then they were like, oh, and then Keara also,
So dismissive.
yeah, they just
Mhm.
they were saying that like I was just hopping on trends.
Yeah. And then when I think about stuff like that now, I mean, it's never easy to hear stuff like that about you. But, you know, a lot of people, like when I think about myself, I would never make that comment to somebody else. And I think that some people that make those comments, it's because they're struggling internally. Like they don't know their labels and they don't know who they really are, and so it's easier to lash out. But you know, it never really makes it easy to hear that kind of stuff because you're always putting yourself out there. You know, I think a lot of people think, oh, it'd be so nice to be a content creator and make money that way. I mean, it's so hard. It is
Yeah, it is.
so hard, and it is like the ultimate mental health test, I think.
It is.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, because anyone can voice any of their opinions, and it's kind of like you said, like people who are like uneducated a lot, I feel like tend to like dismiss like self-diagnose and just autism in general.
Especially us, like, people who I don't know, like have our type of autism, like they just don't recognize that as autism. Like if they can't visibly see anything that looks autistic to them, they're like, "No, you're not."
Yeah.
Also, what do you mean? Are you in my brain?
Yeah. Also, to add to that, so I just got diagnosed with ADHD, right? And you only need 5 out of 18 of these criterias to reach to get diagnosed. I had 18 out of 18.
Nailed it.
I had all of them. 100%.
Nailed it.
100%.
A plus.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so my ADHD definitely like covers a lot of my autism. So that's another reason why people
Yeah.
have also like been dismissive about that.
That's
Like-
true because one can kind of mask the other sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I think that's one reason why I went undiagnosed with autism like my whole life up until this point. I'm 28. And but people could immediately see ADHD.
It's
Like,
easier for some people to grasp that.
yeah.
But and y'all are probably aware, but even diagnostically, professionals were not allowed to diagnose ADHD and autism together until pretty recently. And so that's having ripple effects in the community, right? That's going to take a while to catch up, where professionals are understanding that these two things can coexist. But yeah, diagnostically, professionals were not allowed to make both diagnoses because it was believed that they couldn't both exist together.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they overlap as well.
Yeah, and it can be kind of messy, which is why, again, like, why would strangers on the street be like, what, no, it's like there's so much complexity to it.
Oh, it froze. It's frozen. Hey. It's still recording. Not sure if it's showing, but Taylor Heaton is amazing. Binge all of her content.
Oh no, storm!
I just lost power.
Oh my gosh, not a Texas thunderstorm. I thought it was just like this little bit that was
Me
recording.
too. We're like
So
squeezing
we're like
together.
squeezing like this. This is all gonna show up in her video.
It's a squall. Is that what it's called? Quick thunderstorms?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a squall.
A squall. Were you wearing a hat today?
No.
No.
Hey.
Hi.
It's like torrential rain right now. It was sunny, and then I heard thunder while we were recording. I was like, that's weird. And then my whole house was like, and everything powered down.
It's okay. That's so
Seems
weird.
like everything's kept recording.
I think so.
Yeah, you're gonna get some funny bits in there.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. We can have a blooper reel.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will jump back in. I think when my power went out, we were talking about high masking and how sometimes when you are masking so much that you oftentimes don't know how much someone is struggling. I don't know if y'all relate to that experience.
Yeah, very, like I was saying with my ADHD, like because it can, like, people can often see that more than my autism. Like my autism is very internal.
Yeah, so is mine.
Very. At the end of the day, this one will probably see me the most unmasked and like just see me in my like just like you know what I mean, my like authentic self in that way. But yeah, it's definitely an internal like experience, and I think a lot of people also are quick to judge from the outside, but it's like sometimes I feel like a lot of people, it's hard for them to understand the internal side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so autism actually, AUT is it means self, and so it's like selfism, and not in a selfish way, but I do think it's a very internalized like self experience where people can't really understand everything that's going on. And so that's why I tell people, even who do get or they seek a professional diagnosis, and some people don't get that autism diagnosis when they want it so badly. And I'm like, you know what, this is not the end of the road, because yes, I'm all for, I support professionals who are doing this diagnostic work, but there's still so much work to do when it comes to education and even professionals understanding how to diagnose. And at the end of the day, your brain can't be perfectly represented on a piece of paper or a testing procedure. So just because you don't get that diagnosis, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the diagnostic journey for you.
Yeah,
Exactly. That was really well said.
Oh, well, thanks. So we'll backtrack a little bit, because Keara, you were talking about how when you started sharing more about autistic content, people in your life were like, oh, Keara's just doing what's trendy. And you had mentioned you were talking about kind of, gender and sexuality in your life as well. So question for both of you, how do you feel like being queer intersects with this experience? I feel like there's a lot of overlap in the neurodivergent and queer community. So I'm curious if y'all have any insight on that.
Oh yeah, I feel
It's a
like
deep breath from both sides.
I actually made a TikTok about this.
Okay.
That like the coming out experience is very similar to when I came out as queer. It's like, yeah, like I also kind of got the same response from certain family members as well. Kind of just being like, what are you talking about, Keara? Like, crazy, whatever. And then, like, as soon as I actually got professionally diagnosed, that's when they started to take me more seriously, which really sucks.
Yeah.
But that, like, just reminds me of, like, the gaslighting that I experienced when I came out as queer. It was like, you're not queer, Keara. Like, come on. Like, you've dated men.
It's just a phase.
It's a phase. Like, you're just doing what's trendy, like, over and over again. You're doing what's trendy.
This is so interesting. Yeah, so you had several of the same responses, you're saying, like, in terms of you sharing autism, in terms of you sharing your gender and sexuality, like, people responded similarly to you with both of those, like, processes.
Yeah, and I feel like it's, like, It's not that I'm going with the trends, it's that things are becoming more normalized and talked about.
Yeah.
Then we can do our own reflection and be like, oh, wait, I resonate with this thing that's now becoming more talked about on the internet. It's not, oh, I want to be cool and hip and like be part of this club. It's like, I'm struggling. Why would I do that? for
Just let me
myself?
be. Like, I'm
Yeah.
inviting you into my life to understand me better, and yeah, it should be celebrated. But I mean, there's so much overlap, like statistically, even with gender and sexuality, there's a lot higher percentages in the autistic and the neurodivergent community of people who identify as queer. And so, like you said, we're talking about it more, we're learning about it more, and it's not like these things aren't just happening. Like they've always been there, but like we're
Exactly.
just finding words to describe the experience.
Exactly.
What's it been
I
like
was
for you, Lauren?
Yeah, I was like thinking about this question because I like to like be prepared. So I was thinking about it this morning. And I was like, I feel like the feeling of discovering that I am queer and that I'm autistic were the same in meanings of I felt different from. I feel like that's a really common experience with both queer and autistic folks who are both, that like you just, and either or, that like it's just we feel different from society. And so that's kind of how it's like overlapped with me, kind of just like the feeling of it and like going about that and like just learning to accept myself in that way. Like it feels like a new journey of acceptance. And
Yeah,
I'd
I
say
like that. A new journey of acceptance. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's something, do y'all have thoughts on like if let's say somebody was wanting to get to know you more? Well, I guess this is going to be different for both of you with your diagnostic background, but what's something that you wish people understood about self-diagnosis?
That the first thing I immediately think of is that when someone's self-diagnosing, like most of the times they've done the research, they have taken a deep dive into like seeing different stories, reading different facts, watching videos, reading books. Like they've done a lot of research. Like they're not just saying this, and it's a very vulnerable thing when someone says that they're self-diagnosed. Like it's like Keara was saying, like I realize that I'm autistic because I was struggling so bad. Being self-diagnosed for a lot of us is the first step to getting diagnosed.
Yeah,
I think
that's true. That's a really good point.
I think that's a really important thing that I've definitely been emphasizing in my content lately is like a lot of us, like if I never realized that I am autistic, like from a self-diagnosis point of view, I probably would have never like reached out to a doctor. And who knows, like if I did, if they would even diagnose me with autism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's also it's not like we're saying don't get a diagnosis ever.
Yeah.
Like promoting self-diagnosis doesn't mean we're being like anti-professional diagnosis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes that diagnosis is just carrying you through a period. You know, like maybe, you know, I don't know. There's so many different reasons why self-diagnosis might be a really good thing, depending on where you're at in your life.
I think people think sometimes you can't just like label yourself as autistic after like watching one TikTok.
I hear
And
that
it's
all the
like,
time.
obviously, we're not just watching one TikTok and then being like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm autistic now and I'm going to talk
No.
about.
And
There's so much more like
the
research.
thing that I want people to know, like, and by the time they get to my channel and they're sharing comments, like, here's the thing. Most self-diagnosed autistic people, they lurk. Okay, they lurk and they listen and they watch, but they don't engage until they are sure that they're 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 sure that they are autistic. And there's so much respect in the autistic community, self-diagnosed and seeking diagnosis. We don't want to misappropriate the word, and that is a common theme that I have seen in people who are pursuing self-diagnosis or considering it. There's so much careful thought and consideration put into using the term and label of autism that, I mean, it really is a very endearing thing that I have not seen this term being thrown around. This is used with a lot of caution and a lot of compassion.
Exactly. I agree. Like when I first started making that content, like I was, like you said, like for sure knew. Like I for sure knew. Like I never speak anything on the internet that I don't know or to anyone I'm unsure of. You know what I mean? Because like I'm a very self-reflective person and I did the work and then I was like so excited. Like this is like we need to like talk about this sort of thing. Yeah, I completely agree. Like people don't usually just throw that term around.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think that my understanding of it as well is like, and I talked to my psychologist about this a little bit. I feel like it's less of a diagnosis and more of like like stepping into a deeper understanding of yourself. It's different than a typical diagnosis. This is not, let's say diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Okay, that's a diagnosis and you can take steps to work I don't like to use the word work your way through that, but to better understand that, to find supports and accommodations. But like with autism, it's not like a sentence. It's not like it's not, it's just a very different experience than being diagnosed with like a condition.
Yeah, there's a term that I read about. I believe it's in the book Unmasking Autism by Devin Price, I believe. And he uses self-realized. And I really liked that term because there is a lot of opinions around literally just the word self-diagnosis.
Yeah.
And I use self-realized a lot in the past when I was like seeking like just like reassurance from like the online community and like stuff like that. And that's another term that I feel like is important for people to know who are self-diagnosed, because maybe they are getting a lot of people in their life that are like, like not reacting in the best way. And maybe saying self-realized could help, because it really helped me in that moment.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
glad you
that.
share that. It's a good term. Any other thoughts, things that y'all wish, like what would you tell somebody who is on this path and considering a self-diagnosis? Any encouragement that you could offer them?
Yeah, I always say like find different creators that like you relate to. Just like hearing more stories out and just like getting to know their experiences, if they're really open about it online. That's definitely what really helped me. And just continuing to like research. My memory is like, what's the right word? I don't want to say struggles, but like it's hard to remember a lot of things. So literally I just like, when I think of like, oh, is this like a autistic trait? I'll just do a quick Google and then like it'll be like, yes, like, and it explains it. And that's been really helpful for me as well.
Writing down your traits can be helpful
Mhm.
sometimes to remind yourself like, oh,
For this reason.
I'm not making things up. Because I think like the biggest thing that I was struggling with before I was diagnosed is like I just kept gaslighting myself and I kept telling myself like, no, you're not, no, you're not. And I would have like, I kept going back and forth between like, oh yeah, I'm 100% autistic. I know I am. And then maybe I see something or I have a trigger or whatever. And like, I start to doubt myself again. And like, I feel like just having like a list of things that you can look at.
I actually forgot that I did that until you brought that up now. But when I was pursuing a diagnosis, I had a note on my notes app on my phone, and it was like reasons why I know that I'm autistic. And I'd be at the grocery store, I'd be like, "Oh, I totally do that," and like write it down. I'm like, so it does really help because you do start to doubt yourself. I mean, that's another question I was going to have us talk about, is the imposter syndrome. And Lauren, you mentioned a little bit earlier with people who were coming at you in your comments that kind of made you question everything. But imposter syndrome, I mean, it's a real struggle with this whole process as well.
Yeah, especially when your like family or loved ones aren't educated and like also don't really like accept you, or like they say they accept you, but it's also like they don't understand what you're talking about, so it feels like they don't
Or they
accept
don't
you.
even take steps towards understanding.
Exactly, they don't do the research, like they kind of think that you're just like delulu, like you know what I mean? Like that's like
Yeah.
a really hard thing to also deal with, because I've had to deal with that.
I was going to bring it back into, we've been talking about community too, because I think there are so many people, especially late diagnosed autistic people, who find that once they start sharing about this with friends and family, they don't quite get the reception that they're hoping for. And it can lead to more of that gaslighting and invalidation. And so one thing that has been probably the most transformative for me is connecting with the autistic community, because they're not going to judge you. They're not going to be, "Oh, are you here after one TikTok video?" Like, I've never heard anybody say that,
Yeah,
They're going to
exactly.
ask questions. The thing that they've done for me is I'll read about their experiences. Like you said, find other content creators that you relate to and that hear their stories. And then I'm like, whoa, I never realized that I did that, but I've done that my whole life and now I have words for it. So if you are out there and you don't have the support you need, like plug into autistic community and they can be your grounding and your source of comfort and encouragement if you don't have that, with your friends and family that are around.
Exactly. Something that I'm really grateful in my journey is we have each other to talk to.
True.
Yeah, that
At
helps a lot.
And yeah,
It does.
we're married, for people who are
Yeah, I realized I should have started off by saying that. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So like we live together.
We're married. We've been married. It's our 5th year anniversary in November
Yeah.
of being
exciting.
married. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's
it's fun.
wonderful. And I love y'all's love. I wanted to start with that at the beginning too, because I feel like that's part of what makes y'all so just like I'm drawn to y'all because I love the way that y'all express your love on your the content you create together. It's just so respectful, but like grounded and compassionate and just fun. And so I love that for y'all.
Thank you. We're very grateful. We I don't know if you know the app, The Pattern. So it's basically like an astrology sort of
Oh, I
like
love
thing.
astrology.
Yeah, and it's set on there, like if you have a partner, you can like link the two and it'll say you're like, or just anyone, like you could choose a celebrity on there and it'll say your relationship written in the stars.
Compatibility.
Yeah, compatibility. And ours literally says
Soulmate.
Okay, what are your
So-
signs?
Taurus.
Both.
We're both
Oh,
Taurus.
Okay, 2 Taurus. I'm a Pisces. I'm like very like ethereal, like head in the sky, like dreamy,
Yeah.
but yeah.
We love Pisces.
I love Taurus. Taurus is a great energy. I love.
Yeah. We're 2 days apart. I mean, 2 years and 2 days. Like
Okay.
Lauren's April 24th. I'm April 26th.
Oh wow.
And then we're 2 years apart.
Okay, cool. So y'all really do have so many similarities. Y'all have like differences of like you have different interests that the other one just doesn't like, or do y'all share pretty much everything?
We share a lot of interests.
You like to read.
You don't like to. Well, no.
I try to read, but I just never can finish
I like
it.
the idea of reading. I really like the idea of reading.
Right? It's peaceful.
I love
I'm like,
the
this is
idea of it.
nice. You're not thinking about anything. I'm not on my phone. This
Right.
is great. And then like I'm literally falling asleep as I'm reading the book, and I'm like,
Yeah, I totally get that. Well, okay,
No.
we've covered so much great stuff here. Maybe to kind of close up, if there's anybody watching this who wants to support their loved ones, who wants to be a great support and encouragement for people who are self-diagnosing, what are any thoughts that either of you have on how can loved ones support people who are going through this self-diagnosis journey?
Just like literally listening and like trying not to like force your opinion down someone's throat and kind of just letting them like go through their own self-discovery. Just supporting whatever they want to go through and trying not to like,
Right.
I don't know.
Look up active listening. Google active listening.
yes.
Exactly.
I feel like for me, I'm a big person that's like, if someone tells me that this is like, if they tell me like this is who I am, I'm like, okay, bet.
Like you don't
That's
need
who
to
you are.
question.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, not like, yeah,
Do you know
not
how
like,
much drama it adds to your life to push back on that when people tell you something? Like, just
Right.
it can be as simple as just thank you. Yeah.
yeah, like, exactly. Like, someone's like,
Believe people.
I think I'm autistic. And it's like, okay,
Cool.
cool. You're
Tell me
you're
more
autistic.
about that.
You are.
You know?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And that's like when somebody shares that with you, that's a privilege. That having that information about that person is a privilege. And you don't have to share that with anybody that you don't want to. But know that if somebody shares it with you, it means that you're important to that person. So like
Yeah.
Keara said, like listen, but actually learn how to listen. Because it actually is a skill. And then ask questions. That to me is such a sign of compassion when you can ask decent questions to get to know the other person's experience. I think that's just the best.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've developed like a special interest in autism and learning about it and like learning about different experiences and stuff like that. I've actually I'll bring it up in like every conversation.
True.
People will come out to me like first that they're autistic, and I always feel so honored because I'm like, wow, like this is a very vulnerable thing to say, and I think
Yeah.
just like having a lot of empathy for the person who's talking to you and opening up to you is really important.
Again, I don't think any of us are saying we're not expecting you to just blindly agree with things that are shared. It's fine if you have concerns, but I think the first approach should be thank you for telling me. Ask questions, give it some space to simmer and like let yourself process it. If you have concerns, find a respectful way to do that in time, but let them have their moment of like sharing this with you and realize that that's a privilege to have been invited into their life in that way. And I think that will really change the trajectory of things.
Exactly.
I agree.
Well, this has been such a great conversation. I'm like, okay, should we do a video on astrology? Should we do a video? There's so many things that like I want to talk with y'all about. But I just really appreciate y'all's time. I'm gonna put the links to all of Keara and Lauren's stuff in the YouTube description. It might max out the character limit because there's gonna be so many links for things that they're doing.
We have so much. Thank you.
But thank y'all so much. Yeah, let's stay connected. And if I can do anything to support y'all's work, just let me know.
Thank you. And thank you for everything that you do for the community.
Yeah.
Like, you have your community online and like just like everything. Like, your content changed our lives
Oh.
and it's changing
Yeah.
so many people's
Very
lives.
kind.
A lot of people. And like, I don't know if I know that I'm autistic without your videos. So thank you for the work that you do.
So sweet.